Hello, and welcome to the
You didn't
Ketchup
do the
Corner.
fucking hands! Do the hands! Christ! It's your shtick! Do the shtick! Fuck me in my sideways asshole, bro!
Hello,
Thank
and
you.
welcome to the Ketchup Corner.
Thank you so much for doing that.
We are still on Star Wars, though there is going to be a slight announcement later on in the episode.
Oh, we're announcing it this episode.
Oh, were we not?
Oh, I didn't know. So, well, now that we are, I guess it's too late to cut that out. We're gonna just announce it at the end. I didn't realize we were.
Yeah, I feel like it's better just to
get it out of the way.
Air it out now that we've decided.
We're about to air this room out, as Scram would put it.
All right, we'll just say it now.
Do we want to just talk about it now? Sure.
Yeah. So I think I'm getting into a little bit of a slump with Star Wars. It's not that I'm not enjoying everything that I'm watching.
There's a lot.
It's just there's a lot of information. It's a very heavy and dense world. So I think we're deciding, like, we're going to continue this month as is with a couple of slight adjustments.
Yeah.
But we might end up making this part 1 of Star Wars, and then come May when Star Wars Day actually is, we're probably going to end up just doing a part 2 and finishing the shows then. And by then we'll have some new Star Wars content that we'll be able to talk about.
That's true.
So it fits, it works. We hope you're okay with it.
If not, I don't know, fuck you. But
It's
this
just
isn't your show.
Yeah, it's just the way that it's going to end up working out. February is going to be a much easier month.
We're not going to say why, though.
We're not going to say why.
Until we finish this month.
Yes.
Actually, one of our last episodes, since we're splitting this into 2 parts, could be about this podcast and content fatigue and trying to rush everything through lore. That'd be fun. I'm a genius!
But either way, we're still talking about Star Wars as of now, and in this episode, we're talking about Obi Wan Kenobi.
The show.
The TV show.
Not the character.
The 6-part TV series that was
movie.
on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That not a lot of people enjoyed.
No. Do you want to talk about your research into fan reception, I guess? And I can give my side of it as
I don't think I really did a lot of research, but like I've said before, I use an app called TV Time to help me track things because I'm more likely to actually finish goals if I have a tracker.
Yep.
And so this app, not sponsored by the way.
Not sponsored at all.
But this app lets me keep track of all of the shows that I have been watching, and like you can create your own list and everything. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. And she has been doing a lot of it, I will say.
Really, what I've been, like, most of my research is coming from reading the comments on these, like, during these shows.
She literally has this pulled up every episode.
I
on
do.
Her phone.
It's so convenient. I love it.
It is. It is.
It is glitchy at times, but it works and I like it.
Apps be apping.
But most of my research is done through looking at the comments. Not a lot of people like the fighting scenes from what I've seen. Not a lot. Like, some people love Leia, other people don't love Leia. It's a very mixed reaction, which is interesting.
Yeah. Why is that? What's your opinion on the show then?
My overall opinion is that I liked it.
Okay. That was better than I expected, honestly. I wasn't sure.
Do think it reuses some old plots. It feels a little repetitive at times.
Like, are we talking like the goodbye trick they do all the time, where it's like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
How many times you literally said? I think last episode when Obi-Wan and Leia were saying goodbye before like the big duel, you were like, didn't we just do this an episode or 2 ago?
We literally did just do it in the last episode because he had already said goodbye. Let's explain what the show is about before we get too off topic, because we do that a lot.
Oh, we sure do. Is it off topic, though, if it's about the show? I don't know.
Well,
not really.
It's not off topic, but it's jumping ahead.
Oh, I was going to quote Cat in the Hat. Is it really off topic?
This show takes place after Revenge of the Sith. After, literally, we're starting at...
Couple years.
Execute Order 66.
No.
No, at the very beginning.
Oh, the very beginning.
So the very beginning, first of all, it tore my fucking heart out because they played a whole recap of every single movie and getting to see Obi-Wan's relationship to Anakin.
The bromance.
And it just fucking stabbed me in the heart right away, so I knew I was in for something.
The bromance is dead.
But it takes place right after Revenge of the Sith, and we're following Obi-Wan, and he's pretty much he's obviously in hiding. He is hiding on Tatooine where he can keep an eye on Luke,
but not too close.
But not too close.
Because Owen has his gripes.
Where he can keep an eye on Luke and just make sure that no danger comes to him, and that when the time is right, he will be able to train him as needed.
Yeah, and Owen has gripes with it. That's why he tells him to keep it from a distance and let the boy be a boy. So that's a fun part about that.
And then in a faraway planet, Leia is kidnapped. And he has to come out of hiding, not to protect Luke, but to protect his sister.
Yeah. And they don't know about each other either.
Yeah, obviously, yes. Well, they don't find out about each other until, later
They
on.
have a weird kiss twice, but, They listened to Leonard Skinner and took it to heart and said, this guy's spitting about Alabama.
I did like that we got to see Leia's character in this. I did. I thought it was cute and sweet, and she's like a 10-year-old. Like, she's a 10-year-old. She is a princess, yes, but she's a child. I know a lot of people didn't like Leia as a character, Leia in this, but I feel like she's just as spunky, just as straightforward, and she knows what she has to do. Yep. She's exactly the same as Leia as she gets older. I don't think...
I think people find her whiny sometimes.
I mean, she's 10.
Yeah, but 10-year-olds can be whiny. I will say.
But
there are few moments where she is, I feel like.
First of all, yes, but she's 10. It can be excused. First of all, she's 10 years old. Second of all, she's a princess. She's gonna be a little spoiled.
That don't excuse it. But that's a reason, not an excuse.
That's valid. But also, she is not afraid to put Obi-Wan in his place.
No.
And say, hey, first of all, I don't know you. Why the heck should I trust you? And she right off the bat is like, so you're literally the reason that I got kidnapped. When she finds out Obi-Wan's connection to the people that kidnapped her, she's not having any of it. Which, is fucking valid. You're the reason I got fucking kidnapped. Why the fuck should I trust you?
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that, but she can be whiny sometimes. She's good, and I feel like the 10-year-old card is not an excuse. There's a difference between a 10-year-old, whining and, being put in their place, and then this kind of thing where it's fuck you, the shit we see at a grocery, the shit we saw at Disney sometimes. You know what I mean? Where it's God, how do people let their kids act like that in public type of thing, But it's not frequent. I do like her character, though, otherwise. I don't know if I see the same spunk in her, honestly. Mm-hmm. At some point, I see an over-reliance on Obi-Wan towards the end, but it's because they had that bond, and she is a kid, I guess, to some degree. I'll say that much as well and pull that card, but I think the seeds of a future Leia are there, and, I know one of the things you have is, obviously she's a kid. She's not going to be involved in the politics, but she is by the end, and that's what makes it important, because she technically is. She's a very self-aware kid about royalty. Mm-hmm. So the fact that she's now involved in taking her role seriously with these politics, I think that's huge, in my opinion. So I think the fact that, she finally got into the politics, if this series didn't happen, we wouldn't get the Leia we know today. Mm-hmm. So I think that is one of those cases where her shirking her duty and then going on this whole arc being put back in her duty, I think that's a reverse trope where it works out well. It's not what's a good comparison? It's kind of like Jasmine from Aladdin. But even then,
That's a little different.
Well, yeah, but she hated royalty anyways.
Well, because she was kept in her, she was literally forced to stay inside her palace walls.
Technically, so was Leia.
Couldn't leave. Yeah, but Leia did it anyway.
So did Jasmine, and she almost got her hand cut off. Leia got kidnapped. Jasmine almost got her hand cut off. What's the difference? One's physical, it almost happened. The other one happened. I don't see it. Your Honor, they're the same fucking picture. It's the same picture. It is. Like, what's the difference? Oh my god, Jasmine was involved with a man. Okay, Luke and Leia were involved with each other for a movie and a half. Okay?
No, she only kissed Luke to piss Han off.
In A New Hope? For luck? Just saying.
Oh boy.
Great times. So, but yeah, but yeah, that's like my biggest example. I was gonna say Princess Diaries, but also kind of not really. In comparison, I never really watched it as a kid. I remember it very vaguely from my sister.
Diaries, no.
She accepted her duties, like
yeah, but at the very end.
Yes, but so did Leia.
But Leia it's different from Princess Diaries because Mia didn't know that she was a princess until that movie.
Fair.
Leia grew up being a princess.
But they both still didn't care.
That's fair.
That's the thing.
I don't think Leia doesn't care about being a princess. I just think she wants a little time to be a kid. Which is a running theme. Valid. Like, she should be allowed to be a child.
Yeah. But that's the comparison or difference between her and Luke. Luke can be a boy because he's a farmer. Leia can't do that. She's in politics.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, she has to. If you're involved with that type of royalty and that type of family and you're in hiding, you gotta be involved, I feel like. Luke is a farmer. He gets to have that childhood. They're two different childhoods and two vastly different worlds for a reason. Shut the fuck up out there. Sorry, I'm yelling at the random truck. Sorry.
I just think, I guess it's a conversation of how people feel about children in media in general. People just don't like children.
Yeah. Which is funny because you don't see a lot of movies where they get murdered.
People just anything with a child in it, they automatically, not everybody obviously, but it just seems like certain people in any kind of media, if a child is present, they immediately write it off and that they don't like the child. I think it's an interesting conversation to have. Like, do you actually not like the portrayal of this character, or do you just not like the character because it's a child?
Well, it's the portrayal, I think, more than anything. Because most media writes kids as whiny brats, You look at Stranger Things and you see how they grow up. Like, they're not completely whiny brats. They're thrown into this upside out. Relevant content being relevant, I know. You look at Stranger Things, they all started out as kids / early teens, a lot of them. People don't really complain about them a lot, They are thrusted into this thing, but they're not whining too much about it. Some of these characters are regarded as some of the best in the last decade for a reason. It's all about how they're written. I think people are getting better about writing kids. Leia still feels like the back and forth of that type of writing, in my opinion, but that's a topic for another day about writing.
All right. We've talked about Leia. Yeah. Now let's talk about the main character of
R2-D2.
No, we didn't get to see him.
Oh, right. Lola the droid.
No.
Her droid companion.
Let's talk
about... floating disc.
Let's talk about Obi Wan Kenobi, who is Ewan McGregor.
What kind of sentence?
I don't know. I knew what I wanted to say.
Obi-Wan Ian McGregor.
Obi Ewan McGregor Kenobi.
What?
I don't know.
Obi McGregor. Obi McGroby. Obi McGroby. Oh wait, that sounds horrible. Never mind. Scratch that. No, don't use that. Don't hold me accountable for that. My digital footprint's horrible. I'm sorry. This is the worst. Stop laughing. This is the worst.
They brought back Ewan McGregor to play Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is the best choice they could have made.
The only choice.
Yeah, the only choice. People would have been pissed.
Yeah,
if they didn't bring him back.
His replacement is in the animated series is exactly that, just animated. You needed him in this, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a really, really good choice for acting-wise, because Ewan McGregor can do no wrong. Obi-Wan Kenobi, however...
Here we go again.
We all know he has not been one of my favorite characters.
Semi-agree, semi-disagree.
That is totally valid.
I don't know. He's literally Jesus Christ.
So one of the things, I don't think I really could, figure out exactly why he got on my nerves a lot of the time until I watched this show. And I realized it's because he's a very, it is what it is kind of person. which I know I can excuse it in this series because he literally just lost his best friend, who was his brother. He lost everybody that he had pretty much grown up with and had attachments to, even though Jedi aren't supposed to have attachments.
Well, he breaks that code several times, but I'm not going to say anything just yet, so whoopity whoop.
So, like, he just lost everything. I can excuse it in this series. Like, he has no hope. But he was also that way in the movies.
It's different. It's different because in the movies, it felt like he was taking away Qui-Gon Jinn's teachings the wrong way. Because Qui-Gon Jinn was also, it is what it is, but, you know, don't let it dictate you. Like, he went against the Jedi Order, but he also had the nonchalant, yeah, it is what it is type of thing. He was your stoner uncle. Obi-Wan took the reefer, took one hit, and took the wrong lessons away from it. And also, he was the hopeful it is what it is, because he was brushing aside Anakin's emotions. You know what I mean? Trying to get him to mediate, to calm down. You know what I mean? That's why he was a whole it is what it is type of person. In this, the is what it is because he's a depressed person that lost everything. And also, the whole thing is technically partly his fault. He was not there, and he also was not always the best with Anakin. Like, it's one of those things where what if he was there when Palpatine tried to recruit him to the dark side? But also it's one of those things where I don't know if it would have fully succeeded compared to someone else that you have more to learn about. But, yeah, there's a lot. There is quite frankly a lot to it, but it's the different portrayal for me that makes it more interesting. It's the same angle, not the same angle. It's the same trope, different angle, and it works here because now he gets renewed hope, and he actually becomes more like Ben Kenobi, who's a lot chiller in A New Hope. Serious, but a lot chiller nonetheless.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, yes, I can see what you're saying. It still really irritated me.
It is. It is.
Just because I've said this before, but I just don't see how you can go from having a teacher like Qui-Gon who doesn't fully uphold the ways of the Jedi because he acknowledges that they're flawed, to just being like, whatever, go do what they tell you.
Well, I mean, he was also thrusted into knighthood. He went from Padawan to knighthood to having his own apprentice to be a general in a war and like losing everything in the span of like 2-3 decades. Like, this dude went through it all. It's not an excuse entirely, but everyone was breathing down Obi-Wan's neck. He gets ranked to knighthood, and then he's vouching for his dead master about letting Anakin be Obi-Wan's Padawan. And Yoda also went, no, fuck no, that's not happening. But then had a change of heart after hearing Obi-Wan and agreeing with the council, and here we are now, you know? Yeah. Like, this is the thing about it, is that I hate that we're in this point, and this isn't you specifically because you're new to this, and also no offense, it's because you're used to playing black and white, it feels like, with a lot of your media. You mentioned it with, like, Disney Princess Bubble last episode. This is what I hate about the Obi-Wan argument is with people, is that you want flawed characters, and you want the universe to be a little bit more beyond good and evil, or at least have more nuances to good and evil, but you aren't ready to have that conversation, you know? Like, Obi-Wan is a good character that is trying to do good, but it is the wrong approach to doing good. And then he realizes it halfway through the series, in my opinion, through all the flashbacks and shit. And he realizes his mistakes when it's too late, but now he's letting the newer generation be the newer generation and will be there when they're ready. Like, he was way too hands-on with Anakin, but also not at the same time, because the council wanted him to be hands-on, but he wanted to let Anakin do his thing and try to understand him personally. Obi-Wan was put in a serious position where I think he was going to lose no matter what. That's the issue here, is that he was going to lose no matter what. Either he loses his apprentice and friend, or he loses the council entirely, or in the case of that scenario, loses everything. I mean, we don't really have too much backstory in the new canon of Obi-Wan's past. So we don't know where he would go, where he comes from, etc., as much. So, unfortunately, that's just, you know, he doesn't have anything to go back to. Once you dedicate yourself to the Jedi Knighthood, there isn't much there.
I just downloaded the book.
Oh, you did!
I actually
Is there a book?
It's called Padawan. I just got it on the Libby app. I got the audiobook for one of the vlogs that I'm doing this month on the Neverland Reader, if you want to go check that out.
Okay.
But I just got the... I think it's called Padawan. It's the audiobook for when Obi Wan Kenobi was a Padawan. So I hopefully will have a little more insight.
It's not even that much of a difference from the Young Jedi series that I read when I was a kid. Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm getting mad about canon. I'm getting mad about Disney again. Every episode. Fuck Disney. I'm trying not to, but I'm getting mad again.
All right.
Back to Obi-Wan.
Since we're on characters, do you have anything else to ask me about Obi-Wan?
Oh, no, I was going to see what your thought was about what I just said, because quite frankly, I saw your face throughout. I think this is a great thing to talk about, considering Obi-Wan's entire arc is based around his rise, fall, and fucking up with the Skywalkers.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, it's a good point. I think at some point, though, like, I would have liked to see Obi-Wan without the Skywalkers. Like, I think this show had a little bit of an opportunity to step away from the Skywalkers, but I do see why it's necessary and why, like, we needed to take this direction. And I'm not mad at the direction that it went whatsoever. I just would have liked to see them try something different.
Well, you are, and with him as a Padawan. Fair. Like, if you want a different angle for Obi-Wan, you go to before the Clone Wars, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Because even if you do an adventure here about Leia or Luke, Darth Vader's still there. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to say it, but he was always going to be there. So, unfortunately, that's that. If you're going to do an angle post-Order 66 of Obi-Wan's adventure, well, hey, he can't leave Tatooine. He's in hiding. You know, the only reason he left hiding was to rescue Leia. That's it. And that's because Bail Organa reached out to him and was like, hey, I need to call in a favor. Can you rescue my child? That's literally the part of this. Otherwise, he would have been in hiding like every other Jedi and stay on Tatooine. I mean, Yoda never left Dagobah. I want to point that out. Mm-hmm. And a lot of Jedi, other than others you'll see, either go so into hiding they barely leave planets or go into hiding where they go against the code entirely. Mm-hmm. And that is not in Obi-Wan's, repertoire. Quite frankly. Like, they don't go always against the code, I should say, a lot of the surviving Jedis, but unfortunately they go enough against it where it's like, man, they kind of, like, channel more emotions, that type of thing. Obi-Wan can't. He can't let go of the past, and when he finally does and is at peace at the end, it makes it worth it. So, I think the Skywalker saga is needed. If you want an Obi-Wan adventure that doesn't involve the Skywalkers, you go to the Padawan era. Mm-hmm. Post-Order 66, I don't agree at all. I don't think it's an angle that is doable, especially because the whole reason he's in hiding and whatever adventure he goes on is going to be because of Skywalker. Like, the Empire is an authoritarian threat that is on every planet. You cannot escape it. Mm-hmm. So Obi-Wan can't escape it because eventually he'd be faced with Vader anyways, especially because we are introduced to the Inquisitors here, one of which is a former Jedi that was there when Anakin killed all the younglings, which were her friends. Yeah. And so even if you take Luke, like, them out of this, you can't take them out of this because there's still Anakin at it all. Like, you cannot, and even in the sequel series after he's dead, you can't take him out of it technically. Mm-hmm. But you cannot escape the Skywalker saga.
Right. Speaking of the Inquisitors, I think we'll jump to them before we jump to...
I thought you had more points.
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say more.
What other
points? I thought we were going to have a whole conversation about this.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to keep us, like, on track and
moving on. This is on track!
But I know, but I'm also trying to keep us clear, concise, and being able to hit all the points
This is clear and concise!
I'm trying to get us to hit all the points we need to before it ends up being another 2-hour-long episode.
And people complain about this. Why? It's a fucking podcast. People listen to Logan Paul. They can suck it up and listen to us. That's fine.
No, I think your point is a good point. Obviously, like, we need to, like, we're always going to follow some mention of the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
Especially with past characters who grew up with them and were affected by them.
Yeah, the only ones alive at this point being Obi-Wan, Bail Organa, technically, who was a friend of Padme, and Yoda. And Yoda, as we know, doesn't leave Dagobah for shit.
Yeah.
he is going Looney Tune Bin Island over there. So all you get is Obi-Wan. So
yeah. I don't think I really have any other point to say about that. You've said your piece and I've said mine. We don't necessarily have to agree with each other.
I think we have to agree. I'm going to conform you.
I am okay.
Welcome to 1984.
I am okay with the direction it took, but I would have liked to see what they would have done differently.
Can I be honest with you?
I know you're going to say they couldn't have done anything.
No, I'm seriously going to say they could have, but they would have failed.
Yeah, probably.
That's the issue.
Well, you're just saying that because it's Disney and they have not had the best.
No, wait. I'm the biggest anti-capitalist Disney fucker out there, but I am willing to admit they've had some good ones with Vision in this show. Hold on, listen. Just because I flip and piss on Mickey Mouse does not mean I can't acknowledge it. But they would have failed because, again, we're in the arc where the Empire is rising in a big threat. And this is also the era where Obi-Wan, much like, actually, not even just Obi-Wan, sorry. To quote another series, Solo. That movie doesn't involve Darth Vader or Anakin at all, right? Except it does. In a weird roundabout, because he meets the seeds of the rebellion that rise up against him that Leia and Luke join. So, and he circles back to anyways. So, even, and Obi-Wan, he does the same. He sees the path, which Leia is, and Bail Organa are a part of. So, even if, Obi-Wan wasn't directly involved, he is at this point in history where it's still going to come back to Skywalker. And it's going to be the Empire-wise. And he's going to see remnants of Anakin. They were still going to show Anakin because that's his whole character arc in this, is that he's fighting the guilt of failing Anakin in the galaxy. So the fact that they showed that montage at the beginning, and all their montages throughout the show of him training Anakin and trying to contain Anakin's aggression, I feel like that would not work in any other adventure. If this was like a galaxy trotting adventure in an Empire time, I feel like the tone would be so different and they would fail. You need to tackle this head on. You need to tackle the trauma. You need to tackle the grief. You need to tackle the acceptance of letting go of the past because it's already happened, no matter the outcome, and being at peace with yourself and trying to make a better future. And if they avoided all of that to do a galaxy trotting adventure with sassy Obi-Wan during this rise of the Empire that is partly, again, his fault, it's so tone deaf, I feel like.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Do you think, this is an opinion-based question.
No.
Do you think the time period setting did this a little bit of a disservice?
What do you mean?
Some of the, I personally would have, this is my issue with the original trilogy coming before the sequels. It's the same thing I have about, prequels. I think we could have gotten some really cool reveals in here, like Vader realizing that Leia's his daughter and all of that. I think we could have gotten some really cool
in this show,
interesting scenes in this show if the timeline hadn't already been established.
But then he wouldn't get the main characters if he realizes Leia's his daughter.
I know, but I think it could have been interesting if it was I don't know. But I don't know how to explain my thought process.
And then A New Hope wouldn't be the way A New Hope went. It'd be how Empire Strikes Back went, and it wouldn't work. Maybe
I'd be interested to see a different.
It wouldn't make sense.
Timeline of events.
It wouldn't make sense in my opinion.
I just kept thinking at certain points I was some of these scenes if we hadn't already had an established timeline on when he finds out he has a daughter. It would have been cool.
If anything, I think they do a better job of killing off Anakin Skywalker and establishing the original timeline we have now more than anything.
Which, let's talk about that, actually.
Sure. Fuck, let's jump right into that.
I was going to talk about the Inquisitors, but then you cut me off, and now we're talking about Anakin anyway, so we might as well.
Well, it ties back to the Inquisitors anyways, so, what does that really do? Because it's a roundabout. Much like their sabers that spin. Really cool lightsabers.
So obviously you can't have this series without Anakin.
No.
Who is now full force Darth Vader.
Sorry, please continue. I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna wait.
This is probably the most aggressive we've seen Anakin be.
Yeah.
Ever. And I don't really think we saw that side of him until Disney took over.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing we saw this side, because we saw slight slivers of it under George Lucas, like when Count Dooku, like when Anakin and Obi-Wan was talking about battle strategy, Anakin goes, "No, I'm taking him now." Like, we saw those slivers, but they went full in, and it worked. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you feel, but it worked.
I think it works, but again, it makes me so sad that we got those prequels, because I feel an attachment to him, and it sucks so much. Does. It sucks so much seeing a character who could have been so beloved just completely turned to the dark side, and he's turned to the dark side.
Yeah.
What?
I'm not gonna say anything.
No, go ahead.
Can I?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm jumping several points here.
Go ahead.
All right, everyone, shut up. I'm gonna talk for a second about symbolism. Okay? Can we talk about Darth Vader and Obi-Wan in this entire thing? Can I go on a tangent for that?
Do you want to go into the final scene?
Well, that's part of my reasoning for this, because this is a whole fucking thing about symbolism that I really want to go on.
Yeah.
Can I do it? Or should we talk about the Inquisitors first? Do we get the Inquisitors?
Let's talk about Anakin, and then we'll talk about the Inquisitors.
Oh, this is tough, because they tie back to... Okay, so let me just go into this. So when Anakin and Obi-Wan realize the other is alive still, it leads to this full fight where Obi-Wan's afraid and fleeing all the time, not his typical self, and Vader is full on attacking him. One of their first fights, Vader has the upper hand because Obi-Wan does not want to go through what he did with Anakin again. And Anakin doesn't care. Darth Vader, I should say, doesn't care. There's an important difference that I'm going to get to in a minute. And we see him basically set a fire and drag Obi-Wan through it, burning him alive, essentially. Much like Obi-Wan left him to burn alive. And it's fucking brutal. There is no mercy there. And throughout the show, we're given intersplices of Anakin and Obi-Wan training. And it ties into the whole chase sequence that follows afterwards, where Darth Vader is so obsessed with finding Obi-Wan. Like, forget the child, forget the path, anything else that the Empire is supposed to be chasing. He only cares about Obi-Wan. And that's it. Like, the rebellion could have died if it wasn't for, Obi-Wan being there. Like, I feel like this whole show could have ended right then and there. But Obi-Wan's at the center because of Leia. He doesn't know about Leia because he's keeping it a secret. The only one that knows technically is the Inquisitor, and she doesn't even put two and two together because she sees her as Bail Organa's daughter, not Anakin's daughter by any fucking means. You know what I mean? It isn't until later in the series, obviously, they kind of talk about that stuff. Or lightly touch that stuff, I guess. Because I don't think, Reva, who was one of the Inquisitors, puts two and two together that, they're kids. She just sees, there's a boy on Tatooine. I'm going to go kill him because he must have connections to the path and Anakin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you were going to say something?
No.
Okay. So, the biggest thing about this for me, and why I think this ties the original together and finally separates Anakin from Darth Vader, is the whole final episode. And before we get into that, your thoughts on that finale. Dear God.
Oh my God, that hurt.
That whole final battle?
That fucking hurt.
Reestablishing his connection with the Force, fighting his old friend.
Yeah, well, and this is another thing that, because of continuity, I fully think that because of the final, the last words that they said to each other, I fully think Obi-Wan would have killed him. But it doesn't work with continuity, so he couldn't kill him.
Yeah. And even then, he's still a struggle because he sees Anakin under the helmet when he cuts the helmet in half. First of all, the fight choreography. Can we talk about that really quick?
So much better than...
This was the best.
Yeah, so much better than the sequel trilogy. So much better. It felt like a battle. It didn't feel like I was watching someone dance.
There was some slight choreography where they were dueling each other, gauging each other, but they've always had that. It was slower than the prequel trilogy to gauge the drama. How about the soundtrack? Because this isn't John Williams' soundtrack, I'm pretty sure. How did you feel about that for this finale?
I liked it, but it was a little confused. I know it's not just our TV upstairs either. We do have a kind of a shitty TV upstairs. But when I was watching it, there were times when the audio would be super loud and I'd need to immediately turn down the volume.
Oh, I meant for this final fight, but yeah, that too. I agree.
Oh, I thought you meant for
in general, but that's a good point, actually.
And then, like, I did immediately have to, like, turn it all the way down, and then the next scene was like...
Yeah. But...
You
sound like a fucking Animal Crossing's villager with strep throat.
Gremlin noises.
They don't know that. They haven't watched the channel. But, okay, so what did you think of the final fight soundtrack, though, and the atmosphere of it all?
Oh, man. The whole scene was heartbreaking and, like, awful, and I think the music definitely added to it.
Okay.
But, like, again, I don't really... I'm not, like, the biggest movie music person.
No, you're hitting pretty good notes.
But, just the whole scene.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the symbolism of each character, okay? So, let me tell you why Obi-Wan was probably not going to kill Anakin in the first place, okay? Let's talk about the planet itself. He separates from the path, says bye to Leia for the 15th time at this point. Yes. And even though he promised Bail, I'm going to watch her, buddy, she was about to get blown up by an Imperial Star Cruiser, and if it wasn't for the fact Vader was there and you know he would look for you, she'd probably be dead. Good job. But... we go to this planet, and we see Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. And the shot of the pillars behind Obi-Wan and nothing behind Darth Vader is so on purpose. Obi-Wan's head is cluttered into this fight. Is he gonna kill Anakin? Is he gonna try to save Anakin? He doesn't know. You say he would've, but if you look at Obi-Wan's face anytime he said he would finish it, it's so uncertain. He looks uncertain. Darth Vader... the reason his backdrop's clear is because he knows what's up. He is perfectly clear on one thing, and that's fucking killing Obi-Wan. Yeah. So, the whole battle then goes into the cluttering of Obi-Wan's mind, and you think he's gonna do it. He basically is punching out, Mortal Kombat style, Darth Vader's respirator, basically taking his inhaler and shoving it up his ass, and then slices his helmet in half, and then we get the moment that I think broke you especially. I saw tears down your face, where he sees Anakin under the helmet, sees the man and not the machine, and is desperately trying to call out to him. And we hear the biggest words that, like, go against toxic masculinity that led to this path in the first place, but when it was too late. Him going, I'm sorry for all of it. Yeah. And the symbolism about this, and why I think this fight in this finale finally kills the progress from Anakin into Darth Vader, is the lightsaber hues. We see hues of Obi-Wan's lightsaber in Anakin when he's talking. And first of all, the red hue, saying Anakin's gone. And then the transition of the blue hue, and it's on purpose, because you know it's on purpose, because Anakin goes, I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan. And then you see the weird little transgression between red and blue, and he goes, you didn't kill him, I did. And then it's fully red lightsaber. And then Obi-Wan's like, then my friend is dead, goodbye, Darth, and walks away. And he walks away knowing his friend is truly dead, but he isn't doing it just for the continuity, I feel like. It's because he just can't bring himself to do it, because the fight's already over. You know, Darth Vader has won, and there's nothing Obi-Wan can do to fix it. And he leaves, lets Darth Vader live with his guilt and his struggle, and goes while he's at peace, which is why the last big shots are Obi-Wan leaving into the clear and Anakin in the last little strings staying in the pillars, which then goes to him in Fortress Vader in Mustafar, where he's recovering, and saying, I'm gonna go find him and kick all his ass. And the Emperor actually is the one that reels him back in and goes, I don't know, and reveals the big thing that we saw symbolically in that fight. There's still Anakin in there. There was still Anakin up until that point. But when Obi-Wan finally left him, that killed a good chunk of it. And then there might have been a little sliver there. But then the Emperor was like, no, I sense something's up with you. He's not going to do anything. You just want to see your old friend again, don't you? And kills Anakin entirely, who we don't see again until Return of the Jedi. This doesn't just set up continuity, in my opinion. And this is why this TV show works in this setting, and I don't think any other adventure would work, because it ties together the full transition from Anakin into Darth Vader with no regrets, while giving Obi-Wan the clarity he has that becomes Ben Kenobi. And I see where you're coming from, but I don't think an adventure with Obi-Wan in this setting should be anything. And I honestly don't think that... I think that answers your question. I don't think this time frame does a disservice to any continuity.
I think I was asking that as more like a general question. Like, do you feel like when they make shows after the fact?
No.
Like it. Okay.
I don't think so. It's all about how you handle it, because this is the thing. Star Wars has always done this. There is a book and a video game that released in the 90s that ties together points between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi that leads to Luke being a Jedi Knight. And that was like the big Hail Mary where it's like, is this going to be canon? And George Lucas loved it so much and it succeeded so well that he was like, yeah, let's do more, other than money, of course. And ever since, we've gotten, The Fallen Jedi. We've gotten, there was a series I read where it followed Jedi after Order 66. And I think the ending to that series is actually, I remember everyone, like 2 or 3 Jedi trying their best to survive, and then they stage an uprising, and most of them die, I should say, which ties into another book series. And then we got a sequel series afterwards. There's a whole continuity thing that I think we got to talk about in the canon episode, but I don't think setting it in specific time frames does it a disservice. It's just who's behind it, and the intent behind it is the issue for me. And that's what I feel like is something I really want you to learn going into stuff like this, because this is not the only instance. Marvel, different timelines, obviously. Yeah. DC, different timelines, obviously. Even in DC. Other things like, my God, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. Different timelines, different crossing paths, and a whole lot of unexplained history that just you have to accept sometimes. That goes deep. This is the thing with big nerdy franchises like this, like with interconnected lore.
Nerds.
You're one of them now. Is that and actually you also got introduced to this because of Fairy Tail, with Fairy Tail Zero dropping in between the Tartaros arc and the Alvarez arc and filling in those gaps. Like, you liked that arc though, right?
I did.
Yeah. It didn't do a disservice to anybody, if anything, right? It filled the gaps in.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. I feel like this doesn't do that either. I feel like this, if we had done this, I know people are sick of this era, but there's so much you can explore with this era. I just think we're sick of the same story being told over and over again. But finally we get a type of, idea with Obi-Wan that finally tackles his fault in all this head on, instead of being like, no. You know what I mean? Like, we don't get a new angle for the fallout with somebody else, or the uprising of the rebellion, which is still cool depending on how you write it. And it's obviously a TV series and Rogue One to begin with. But I feel like it doesn't do it a disservice because it tackles a very specific time period where the rebellion's just starting, and it's fresh enough in Obi-Wan's mind where he still has that guilt. It tackles it just enough in this Rise of the Empire era where it does a service to both the original and connects those dots without being too weird, and the prequel. I don't know how you feel, though, so I've been rambling for 10 minutes about that, so give me your thoughts on your own question.
No, I think it would be I think I agree with you. I think it definitely is dependent on how it's done.
Yeah.
I think it in a general sense, not necessarily in this sense, I think it can sometimes do a disservice.
Oh yeah, no.
Because
I
you're
agree.
limited to what has already come out up to that point.
But that's also, I think, a good challenge you should take.
Yeah.
You keep telling...
Yeah, I'm not saying that, it's a bad thing.
Oh, no, I agree. But I think that's a good challenge more than it is a hindrance. You know what I mean? Like, if you keep expanding the lore, at some point you're going to get nothing but callbacks. You're going to become the sequel trilogy, in my opinion, where you rely on the past to tell the story of the future eventually. Eventually, everything goes back to a past source to begin with. Why not just connect those dots and then build the future off of it with a bigger, bolder understanding of history?
Yeah, it takes a really good storyteller to do it, though. And again, it all depends on how you do it and how you're able to what's the word that I'm looking for? How you're able to interpret?
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say handle, interpret, babysit in some cases.
To interpret like that past media source. Like I feel like we could also get into a conversation about like adaptations and how people get really mad if like a book adaptation like into a movie is even like there's even one slight dissimilarity. And, like, people get so mad about stuff like that, but it's an interpretation. It's different.
But also that brings up a tough point, because it does bring up a tough point because this is not an interpretation. This is adding to the canon.
Yeah.
Like, and there are things that people notice that are weird about the Leia Luke stuff. Like, Luke never, I think, ever meeting Ben in his life. I think he said in New Hope and just knows him from legend, if I remember, or knows him from, like, locals. But yeah, he met him as a small kid. But then you can also interpret that was when he was a small kid years ago.
Yeah, he also doesn't know what the heck is going on.
That's also
like,
it.
Through the entire time that Luke is on, like we do see Luke in the show for a little bit, but he's literally being chased. He has no idea what the heck is going on. He is just kind of in the moment trying to figure out how he can survive.
But that is also a detail that they drop because. You know, he's being chased by a Sith Inquisitor, essentially. And he doesn't recollect any of this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, is it because he hit his head and got concussed and passed out? Is it because he's a kid and he doesn't remember that much? Who knows? But that is one of those things where I agree it is a disservice to tying the original. But it's not a big thing that bugs me because this is about Leia more than anything. Yeah. Luke felt like such an afterthought.
Which, yeah, I think that's the reason that Luke wasn't in it more than he was.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason they couldn't make Luke the character that got kidnapped is because we've already established that he knows very little about Ben.
Yeah, but, like, I feel like that could have been better if they had just written out the part where Reva, who is the Inquisitor we still got to talk about, where she just, you know, almost succeeded in capturing Luke. Like, you could have had him, like, basically sleeping and blissfully unaware, and Owen and Beru kind of meet her outside their house, you know what I mean? And she's standing in the shadows without her lightsaber, or, like, he's already knocked out, God forbid, this or that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're building up a problem in continuity that doesn't need to be there by involving him so much. But if you just remove that part where she almost does it entirely, like if it wasn't a big battle, because Reva, honestly, she gets her ass kicked almost by these farmers, and she's a Sith Inquisitor. Like, and I think that drives me nuts a little bit, but I do respect it.
So with that, and we'll talk about the Inquisitors in literally a second, because I think it's about time we move on to them.
They are important in the lore. They are a big part of Rebels too, so it was nice to see.
I think with that, though, they were able to beat her because she was so caught up in emotion. She only wanted to kill this kid to get back at whoever she needed to get back at, because obviously Anakin killed all of her friends when she was a child, when they were children. And she's just looking and thinking, I'm going to do the exact same to this kid. And she's so hung up on emotion, and she's not thinking clearly.
Well, I mean, that's also tough, though. But she didn't technically lose. She won. She knocked them out. And then she almost won if she didn't get the flashback. That whole last part with her, in my opinion, was so conflicting to her story. But we'll get into that in a second. But, like, that was just to rush Luke. If you had it where she, like, overpowered them easily despite them being badass and being like, we're going to make our stand... Like, I get that's their home turf, but she's a Sith Inquisitor, and she's shown to be so damn capable in this despite everything. It's that brief weakness where it's like, yeah, the emotions are high, but she's still a Sith Inquisitor. How many times are emotions high, and we've seen Darth Vader kick everybody's ass, or, like, even Obi-Wan kick everyone's ass, or even Mace Windu with his emotions about Palpatine almost kill him and beat everyone's ass.
They've learned to control their emotions, though. She has not.
Anakin never did, though.
But no, he when he became Darth Vader, he 100% did. He's just controlling that anger and using it for power.
He became a robot. He became a robot.
That's a good way to put it.
I don't think he controlled it. He became numb to it.
Right.
Or not numb, I should say, but like circumventing it in a way.
He's using it as a form of control and power.
Which, you know what? This series also ties together well, because after being called out by Palpatine, he's not as emotional. he doesn't show any emotion. He just answers monotone. I think this does it well because Palpatine, who told him to use his emotions and search his feelings, is now telling him, hey, chill the fuck out or I'm going to beat your ass and kill you and your whole thing's going to be ruined. He's like, damn, okay. So I think that's a good tie around too, where like, I don't think it's because he has control of it. It's because he has to keep everything he has. So that's a good way to look at it. I just think with her though, even when her emotions are controlled, she's dominant. She's almost beaten everybody's ass so many times in the show. I think that whole final conflict is so weird. I feel like you could have angled it better. And even then, like...
But it ties back.
It does. It does tie it back. I just don't think it ties it back well.
Right. Okay, so who is Reva? Like, the one that we have been talking about this whole time. Who is she? Who are the Grand Inquisitors? The
Inquisitors are Sith, hunters. They are hunters of the Jedi, essentially. Mm-hmm. And I forgot they were in this show for a minute, or at least to the degree, because the Grand Inquisitor, Mr. Pale-Skinned Powder Cocaine himself, is important.
You can't say that.
I am gonna say it. He is! He is very important. I forgot he specifically was in this, and not just the Inquisitors as encompassing, because he is one of the main villains in the Rebel Star Wars show.
Oh.
So, I forgot he was in this. But they are essentially Jedi hunters. They do Darth Vader's dirty work for him, and if Darth Vader gets involved with the Inquisitors, you better run. Because they are basically like third sister, second sister. There's a hierarchy to these guys. But they're like Sith bounty hunters. And they're so fucking cool. And I'm glad we're tackling these guys and making them part of the canon since the video game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and the show Star Wars Rebels. What did you think of the Inquisitors?
I did not like them.
Okay, is that like I didn't like them because they made me emotional?
I didn't like them because they're good villains.
Okay, thank you. Good. Okay.
I didn't like them because you're supposed to not like them.
Yeah.
I think we've said a lot, Star Wars has some of the best villains and some of the worst villains.
And they got Jedi Rock. And Jizz. Great music. Can't wait to go to Florida in 2027 and go listen to Jizz. Interpret that how you will. Anyways.
But no, they are added to the list of really good villains in the Star Wars universe. I'm intrigued by them.
Yep.
I'm glad to know that this is like one of the first instances that we see them and they do have like a more pivotal role down the line because I'm intrigued to see where we go from here with them.
Mm-hmm. What about Reva?
Okay, she was an interesting character. I liked that she was a badass character. She has the title of third sister.
Yeah.
Which, if you're looking at the hierarchy, obviously it means she's down a couple notches.
1, 2, fish, 3. Okay. As my boy said in Simpsons Hit and Run, 5, 5, 5, 4.
But she acts like she should be the Grand Inquisitor. Like, she should be the boss. She should be number one because she has a mission and she wants to accomplish it.
Do you want to tell them what that mission is?
We've already discussed a little bit. The mission is Anakin has killed all of her friends in Order 66, and she wants her fucking revenge.
She was there at the Jedi Temple, and I had to correct you because you were like, they didn't kill the younglings there. And I'm like, wait, you don't remember the hall, though? You don't remember that there were other younglings in the sprawling temple? And we see the flashbacks when Obi-Wan realizes she was there. She wants her revenge. She wants to get close to assassinate him because she even knows that, you know, he cannot be stopped unless you try to undermine him. Mm-hmm. But what'd you think about that twist in general? Let's talk about that twist really quick. She was there at the temple, and one of the biggest lines that feels like a parallel to, huge trigger warning here, school shooting survivors, was that she had to lie and pretend to be dead. Yeah. What did you think of that plot twist?
I think it was a really interesting thing to do. I don't know if it was 100%... Okay. I don't know if it was 100% believable in this context, because Anakin at that point was so tuned into the Force. Like, there was no way he wouldn't have been able to tell that she was alive.
Yeah, that's, like, the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I think people have, too, and I agree.
That's a bit of a plot hole, because I really think he would, at that point, like, it's not like he was a Padawan anymore. He had been so tuned in with the Force. he had already had such a strong power. I think he would have been able to tell if one of them was alive.
That's the biggest thing, yeah.
But I think it's such an interesting character to have. Somebody who was there, who survived Order 66 as a youngling. Because at this point, we think he's killed all the younglings.
I mean, he did have a preserved body in this show we saw. He had the preserved bodies of so many Jedi. Your face dropped so hard.
Oh my god, I hated that scene.
Well, your face dropped during the Jedi in general, and I was looking at you, I'm like, wait for it. And then you saw the kid, and I'm like, there it is. Yup.
I hated that fucking scene.
Yup. And it shows how unhinged Darth Vader was during the process of Anakin to Darth Vader. He was a psychopath. Even in Rogue One, you still saw the snips of it and how he murdered everybody. He was a psychopath, honestly.
Yeah.
But back to Reva, though, in that. What'd you think?
I liked her... Okay, I think I agree with you. I liked her character up until, like, that final episode, because she gets so in her feelings. Up until then, she has controlled her feelings. She has a goal, she's trying to accomplish it, and she's in control.
Yep.
But then we see her falter when she's trying to kill a child, and because of her past, she can't kill Luke.
I had issues before that, honestly. Because in the second to last episode, we see her walking up to Vader and almost killing him, and then he's like, nah, as we all expect, he goes, nah, fuck you, I'm smarter than that. Mm-hmm. And then the Grand Inquisitor comes back, and he's like, hey, what's up? I'm back from Cancun. I'm back for my spot, nerd. And they leave her to die, essentially. She doesn't, but she discovers the holocron that has, talking about, of Bail talking about the kid on, Tatooine. I think that part was bad.
Oh?
I think that part was bad. You no longer have anything to do with Vader. Mm-hmm. You're left for dead. Like, I don't see the point of going to kill Luke.
I agree. I think because it almost makes it seem like she knows that Luke has a connection to Vader, even though she's not supposed to.
I don't think
doesn't even Vader doesn't even know he has a connection to Luke.
I don't think they even talk about the kids being connected. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Vader doesn't say anything about
No, Reva, I mean specifically.
Yeah, none of them do.
Okay, because I correct us in the comments, but I swear I don't remember anything of Reva putting the dots together about anything.
No.
So I think that's my issue with it, and why they sandwiched Luke in so much is that, you could have had this moment before the Vader thing, but you don't. And I get the parallel of you're becoming going back to Obi-Wan's point, you're becoming the very thing you're seeking to destroy. But I don't like how it was handled. I think it was out of sorts in the timeline. You could have had that before, and even then, I don't know. I don't think her trying to kill Vader and then, getting stabbed by him threw the entire timeline off. I think that threw it off. If you had, her thinking about it, but Vader saying something that was ominous, he knows, and then she sees the holocron, great. And then she realizes she's no better than him, and, realizes there's no hope. Then she leaves. That's not the best ending for her still with the time frame, but sure, whatever. It's better than her already losing, and then you're having her go back to, this original mission with no purpose, other than to wrap her point home, which doesn't work, because now she's just a wanderer.
Yeah, which I think brings back to the point. At this point, she has been so controlled up until that point, and then one tiny sentence from Obi-Wan throws her off completely.
Oh, he knows how to do it.
I know, but I think, it ruins her character.
Oh.
Because she has had this plan. She's been planning this for years.
And
you're going to let one sentence ruin your entire plan.
And what was that sentence?
I don't even remember.
Was it about becoming Anakin?
It was
I know it was during the negotiation.
Basically, he's trying to say, I'm helping you
yes, that's
get to
right.
get to the point that you need to be.
I'm not...
you're not bringing him to me, I'm bringing him to you,
yep.
so that you can finish your purpose, or something like that.
Well, but that's Obi-Wan trying to no longer be Obi-Wan 2, and it shows the main point about everything for Obi-Wan. He can't control things anymore. It's not in his nature. He has to let go of the failure, understand that it's too late, and try to make amends with himself and with everything. Basically, it's like that Jedi and Acolyte without, acolyte without like 5 missing steps. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Yeah. I think that makes sense. Yeah. It's like that Jedi that took that vow of silence. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the 5 steps to make us care are there. Mm-hmm. And it's because it's a beloved character like Obi-Wan. But Reva, it's just that ending part was, those last 2 episodes were so confusing in regards to her arc. It's like, you failed on Vader. Why are you going to kill this kid anyways? Unless she put 2 and 2 together, but she never says.
No, I don't think she did put 2 and 2 together.
She was just pissy. Okay.
Yeah, because it just doesn't make sense. There's literally no indication that says, like, he is attached to this character in any way, unless her motivation was going there to hurt Obi-Wan, because she does know...
That's probably it.
Because she does know that Luke is attached to Obi-Wan.
That was my other point too, but it still is not like, it's still not the best given that
it's not established.
Well, it's not that it's not established, it's just not done well for me to care. Because you already lost to Vader, now you're just getting pissy at Obi-Wan because of your failure anyways. But then again, it is kind of established because she says, "Where the hell were you when we were getting slaughtered?" So it does bring everything together about Obi-Wan's role in the fall of the Republic. So I guess it tied... I'm still not the biggest fan, but thinking on it now, there were ties to make it a little better. It just wasn't portrayed in... I understand the whole show, not tell type of thing, as our cats are being fed. But I feel like they could have done better of telling instead of trying to just show.
Yeah.
A little mixture doesn't hurt. It's when you do way more telling than showing and over-explain where it's the issue.
Yeah.
But I feel like she was good up until that point. So let's go into the general thing, I guess, too. Other fight choreography, do you have anything to say about that?
Nope.
Okay. How do you feel about the pacing, the general plot, and a lot of decisions made by characters, including Obi-Wan, in this show? Does anything else stick out to you? Like, side character-wise? I mean, we had a fake Jedi, essentially, which was wild. That, what was his name again? Oh my god, I love him.
I forget
He's in
his
so
name.
much funny shit. He's also an orc.
I think if you're looking for, like, a comic relief character, he's who you cast.
And you could tell that's what he was.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but
Which
he did
I
good.
don't think I liked seeing him at first, because I'm like, he's in this? Like,
yeah.
Because he has a very specific kind of acting style that, depending on the media form he is in, is either a hit or a miss.
Yeah, I mean, he's also in a lot of nerdy shit.
He grew on me. I was a little like, what the fuck is he doing here? He does not belong in this series.
Fun fact, this is not the only nerdy piece of media he's in.
Which, yeah, I'm okay with.
He is also in a Lord of the Rings video game.
He's like he's one of those actors that you can't help but thinking he's not playing a character. They just gave him a script and said, go off.
I really want to tell you now what he is in a Lord of the Rings video game.
What is he?
He's an orc.
Of course.
With that exact voice.
Of course.
Like, he was actually playing the Shadow of Mordor sequel, War of Mordor, I think it's called. Shadow of War, I think it's called. And, you know, he was talking about his orc, and, like, his orc is a dumbass, essentially. His orc is comic relief, and if you know how the Mordor Nemesis system works, he doesn't get any good shine unless he kills you and then rises up in ranks. That's how the Nemesis system works. So, he could have been a one-and-done character depending on how good you are at the game. But he was interesting this show. Anything else about the side characters? We had Talo as well.
Who?
The one that died, the grenade. The rebel.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm bad with names sometimes.
Okay. What'd you think?
She was an interesting character. I was a little confused as to which side she was on at times.
She kind of...
She teetered the line. Like, but
very
she was a double agent.
Oh, she was like, Hux and everyone else in the fucking sequel trilogy. Jesus Christ.
I kind of saw her ending coming, which is a little disappointing that it has gotten to this point, that it becomes a little predictable, because we are seeing similar tropes in a lot of the Star Wars universe now.
Which isn't bad, it's just how you do it, but I digress.
But overall, I did like her as a character. She like flipped a switch so often that I was like, okay, which side are we getting of her at this time when she's on the screen?
So in that regard too, before we get to pacing and just the general stuff, the overall thing about this is character decision making. Obi-Wan shooting a laser wall instead of just walking around, essentially, that whole thing. At one point, I think she specifically just elbows or punches a stormtrooper in the helmet a couple times.
Yeah.
What'd you think about the character common sense in this? Because that was a big thing that took people away as well.
It definitely gave off the droid mentality.
Yeah. Oh my god, wait. Oh my god, the battle droids. Oh my god.
Battle droids.
Fucking holy shit. That's right. That's right. Oh my god, you're so right. They're the battle droids from Clone Wars. Oh my god. They are. They're so fucking stupid. They're stupid.
Roger, Roger.
Holy shit. Roger, Roger. Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, there were some questionable choices.
There were, and I think it takes the immersion out. It really, I think, does lend into, like, the comic relief stuff at times. You know what I mean?
I could excuse it if it's, like, Obi-Wan making some stupid decisions and not really thinking he's been out of the game for 10 years. But everybody's doing
But
it.
also, like, you could have walked around the laser wall. They show it in frame, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Instead, you're doing this whole thing, and then later you just go... Like, you're trying to be discreet. That's a blaster. There's no suppressor on that shit. That terribly diabolical, even. The stupidity is strong with this show. It's so funny to me. It really is. But anything else you want to say about character decisions?
No.
I feel like the only justified decision, even though it was a stupid decision that works for the character, was Darth Vader chasing Obi-Wan. Because that man was on a mission.
Oh, he was on a mission.
He was on a mission. The whole rebellion could have died if, he listened to the Inquisitor going, no, our mission's the path. Fuck your old master. And he's like, no, go after that guy.
Yep.
And ruins everything.
I know, but, like, he's still so set in his revenge ways. Like,
he is. That's why I think it's justified.
He became this monster because of Obi-Wan, and...
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain point.
He went from monster to machine, though, in this. So that's why it's only justified, even though it's stupid, I guess you could say. So that's the only thing. Speaking of that, I feel like one of the last big things, other than the ending itself, is the pacing. 6 episodes, ranging between 25 to the last one being almost an hour.
No, they're all about 40 minutes.
No, I thought some of them on average were 30.
I don't think so.
I think some of them were 30-40 range, let's say.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the pacing for this?
I'm sure they were all like 40-ish minutes. I think there's only so many things that you can do with this kind of series where like you have that limited time span.
And this all takes place in what, a day or two, I feel like, right?
Yeah, I don't think it didn't take place very long. What else are you gonna do in 6 episodes? I think the pacing was good for what it was.
They did repeat, like you said, the whole goodbye thing so many times, and I think that chewed up time a lot too.
Agreed. Yeah, there were some like questionable things, like constantly saying goodbye to each other, that honestly could have made this an even shorter series.
Yeah.
But like I'm not sure, like 100% sure how it works. Is where the whole media newbie thing comes in handy. Like if you're slated to have 6 episodes, you need to fill that time up with something, I guess. So
here's my question for you. Would this be better as a movie?
Oh.
You know what I mean? Would you cut out half of this with a movie, or even like a 2-part kind of special thing where it's like almost an hour each? That a lot of Disney shows did in the day, but...
I think this could be interesting as a movie.
Would it work, though? Would you see it working?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean...
Yeah?
Yeah, it could.
Interesting.
Do you not agree?
I don't know. I don't think it would. Only because so much does happen in those 6 episodes despite everything. But also, I feel like I'm countering my own point by saying half of that could be cut out because it's a repeat of same plot points like the goodbye shit. So, I don't know. It's tough, but also I feel like it would do a disservice to one of the bigger things, the Clone War flashbacks. The training between Obi-Wan and Anakin that helps everything tie together like the finale of Anakin versus Obi-Wan instead of just Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I don't know. It would be interesting.
I think it's good as a show.
Okay, so decent pacing. Decent.
Definitely not the best. Okay. Could have used some editing, but
oh yeah. I mean, it could have used better editing in general, I feel like. I feel like that's a common thing with Star Wars we don't talk about with the shows, is the editing could be better in this Disney era. There's so much weird shit, weird shots, but this is the more visually pleasing of the bunch, and it tackles a lot of good things. One of the scenes I want to point out in regards to pacing and just the overall theming of this show with Obi-Wan, there's a very specific scene where he's in the underground, I think, of Coruscant, right? Mm-hmm. Where he suddenly hears someone go, got any spare credits, and you see an old clone trooper veteran being homeless and, like, stuck. Not serving the Empire, but was left on the streets. And I really so badly want to tell you why that could be the case, but you have not watched the entire Clone Wars series. But I digress. But I really want to tell you why, but it ties together like the fallout of the war, the fallout of the fall of the Republic in general. And again, we talk a lot about the mental clarity and challenges of grief in a way, and the challenges of guilt and everything else. Mm-hmm. What'd you think about how it was handled in regards to that pacing?
Yeah, that was a tough scene. That was a tough scene to watch, and I do kind of wish we got a little bit more into the inside of that.
It's tough. That's so tough. I can't say it. I can't say it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a tough thing all around because you realize that there are no winners in this fucking war.
Wow. Sounds shocking right after, because we filmed this episode a little late because we were busy yesterday. Sounds familiar to, like, I'm going to read the script I wrote on my hand because clearly it's easy to forget about this, right? The strikes Donald Trump just launched on Venezuela at 3 a.m., leading us into a war. Wow. It's almost like there's no winners in war. It all comes back to that fuckhead, and I hate it. But, okay, the other themes, though. The personal themes, specifically. The spiritual themes, let's call it. This is like the big series, in my opinion, where I think Obi-Wan finally has peace and finally gets Qui-Gon's understanding. And it's symbolized in one of the biggest things. He can't connect to the Force anymore. He can't reach out to Qui-Gon's ghost, which is like the big thing at the end of Revenge of the Sith that Yoda kind of talks to Obi-Wan about. He can't do any of it. He's in turmoil. There's a lot of guilt. But I feel like this is finally where he lets everything go and lets the Jedi way go and just is. Which then leads to, I want to ask you your opinion really quick, as a side note, the appearance of Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn again. What did you think of that 5-second little thing?
Oh, we still have not gotten enough time with him.
What did you think? It took you a second because you saw the ghost popping up and you're like...
Well, because I'm like, it could have been anybody.
No,
I assumed it would either be Padme, because we had just had that conversation with Leia about her mother.
No, it would, because she's not a Force ghost, though.
Oh, true.
The only
or
ghost
it would have been Qui-Gon, which obviously makes the most sense. And again, we still have not gotten enough time with him. I want more of his character.
It's so
why
funny.
I really want to read the books, because I know there are a couple that feature his character more prominently.
Yup.
But, like,
so
love him as a fucking character.
How'd you feel? You were getting emotional a little, actually.
I was, because I love seeing him back. He had such an impression on Obi-Wan, and I feel like if he had stayed around longer to finish Obi-Wan's training and to train Anakin,
none of this would happen.
It would have been so different.
But again, that's a part of all the maybes of everything. Like, what if Anakin listened to Mace Windu about Palpatine? You know what I mean? It's all maybes in continuity, that whether we went the original and then the prequel and then the original, it's all maybes either way. That it doesn't matter the order. It's all maybes.
Mace Windu can shove it.
But yeah, I thought it was fun, and I thought Qui-Gon Jinn's line in retrospective was the biggest thing that ties it all together. Is him kind of looking and going, his literally only one of 3 lines. What took you so long? His first fucking line is just giving sass, going, what took you so long?
He's good at that.
He is, but like it ties everything together, and I want to, I guess, go back to the themes for that for you. is that this feels like he finally gets Qui-Gon Jinn's teaching, which he failed in the prequel, in my opinion. He finally gets it. Do you agree? How do you feel about those themes with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan finally, too?
Yeah, I do agree. And I think... Wait, what was the question? It was the second
like, all the themes of Obi-Wan. Like, you know, guilt, changing the past, changing the future, being at peace with yourself for your mistakes and moving forward. Like, obviously the mistakes are way more drastic than the theme itself. I mean, this man literally is part of why the whole Republic fell. But it's something you still take away with as someone, as a fan, that could be an inner turmoil about your life yourself. What did you think about that?
I think it was a really, really great way to show that he had released a lot of that guilt. Maybe not all of it, but a lot of it is gone. And now he gets to see his old master. And, you know, they get to, you know, he gets to live his life in peace until Luke ends up growing up. And
he does let Luke be a boy finally.
Yes.
Instead of thrusting him into training like Anakin, he finally sees Owen's reservations about letting him be a kid, which is also huge in my opinion. I get it's for continuity's sake, but that's also huge.
Yeah.
Because he almost repeated, hypothetically, the same mistakes if you rushed it. You know what I mean?
Which, like, I don't think we've ever brought this up before, but the fact that everybody is so set on children being Padawans so fucking young, you know what that's called? You know what that's called? That's called grooming.
Child warfare.
That's called grooming.
It's child warfare.
But, like, why do they have to be children? Anyway.
Well, I mean, it's symbolic because, again, war. How many people send kids to war? America.
Too many.
Too many. But, again, it's huge. It's huge, in my opinion, that we got this arc. I know it's to tie up continuity, obviously, but also on a deeper meaning, it works, in my opinion. It's one of the few post-Disney acquisition shows that work, and there's actually care behind it. Ewan McGregor was an executive producer behind this too, so I'm sure he had a lot to say about Obi-Wan as well while acting, but this was a huge show, in my opinion, that we're never going to get a season 2, I think, but I'm fine with this being the one season because it does tie everything together theme-wise well. I think this is...
I don't think it needs a season 2. I think it ended on a really good note. Yep. Unless season 2 is going to give me more Qui-Gon Jinn, then I will be open to discussions.
Oh my god, Qui-Gon Jinn. Your obsession with Qui-Gon Jinn.
He's an amazing character.
He is.
I would like to see more from him.
It was so funny, but like I think about those lines.
That's the show Disney should make.
I think about those lines now from Qui-Gon, and I'm like, it's not just him going, "Damn, took you long enough to see me." Like it's him finally going, "Well, you took my lessons finally. Took you long enough." And even then, he says, "Come on, we got a long way to go," and shows that Obi-Wan is still going on that path still. You know what I mean? So, but he's at peace in that moment, no matter what it looks like. So, it was very symbolic. So, really like that, you think?
Yeah, I loved that part.
Good. I'm very happy to hear that.
I would like a Qui-Gon Jinn television show. Disney Plus, get on it.
Oh, we'll see. Qui-Gon is a beloved character, actually. So.
As he should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want more Qui-Gon Jinn, I feel like I got to get you on the Legends books, the early reader Legends books. But that's another thing for another time at the end of part 1. So, is there anything else you want to say about Obi-Wan?
No. I think that pretty much sums it up and wraps her up.
Good show?
A good show.
Best of the shows so far in regards to, like, Disney? Because I know your favorite's going to be Ewoks. Don't even finish with that.
No, I think I liked Visions more.
Okay. See, that's fair. That's fair,
I think, so, right now, I think this is ranked 3rd in line with droids being dead last still.
That is not a hard bar, so we'll take it. So, good show? Like a solid B, A minus?
Yeah, solid, yeah.
Solid B, A minus range, you'd think?
Solid B minus.
Okay, that's still good.
Yeah,
that's still good. Cool.
Well, so for the next episode, we are going to be jumping into Andor.
We're going into the Palestine allegories now.
And then after that, we are going to discuss which order we're going to be continuing the month with. For part 1, and what we're going to be saving for May for part 2.
We may cut some episodes for part 2, obviously, and replace them with the canon episode, which was an idea, but then it wasn't, but then this. And I do want to bring up an episode about fatigue. and playing catch up as a new fan.
Yeah.
Not just for Star Wars, but Star Wars is a good segue for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like doing the video games.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll stream a couple video games. I know, I always have my set schedule, but I'm willing to stream some video games of Star Wars with you.
Wow, you like me?
No, it's just for content.
Shit.
This is all for content, baby, that I'm not getting paid for. Anyways.
You don't love me?
I suppose.
This is bullshit.
You're okay, I guess. You're okay. So, yeah, next up is Andor. So, that'll be a fun one. This is considered one of the greatest Star Wars shows of all time.
I have also heard that you should watch Rogue One again directly after the last episode of season 2, so I'm terrified.
Yeah, because when I said Rogue One doesn't tie anything and it's an independent film, technically I guess I lied, because it did at the time, other than tying into A New Hope, but you get the gist. It's technically an independent film, blah, 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 whatever. So,
right.
yeah,
we'll
that's
see
it.
you all next time for that episode. What is your comment? Question.
Comment?
What is your question?
It's a good show. I think it's better than anything we've gotten otherwise. I like it. It's better than The Acolyte, at least. So,
what is your question?
Did you like this show? What are your thoughts on Obi Wan and Vader's arcs? I guess all the arcs. Let's talk about all the arcs. Say something about the arcs in general.
All right. Thanks for watching with us. We'll see
The Force be with you.
next time. Goodbye.
Good boy.